Welcome to Drunk Comics and Chris Jowers. How are you doing?
I'm doing fantastic as I drink what you use to clean combs.
Cheers. Okay, so you told me off screen, but I want you to tell me again on screen what you're drinking, please.
So these are some 32-ounce frozen mug concoctions that I make because when I like to drink, I'd like to drink usually like a lot of water. I don't like drinking small cocktails, so I make these pretty large ones. So this is where to start at. Cactus juice, which is tequila and triple sec combined, a little bit more triple sec, a little orange curacao, watermelon rum, and coconut rum. Mix that together. Then you add in some Crystal Light blueberry raspberry, filled up with spring water in a nice frozen mug with ice. Stir it up one way and the other, and you have yourself a absolutely delicious cocktail. It is fantastic.
That sounds.
And I'm not only saying that because I'm the inventor, I'm also a client.
Cheers to that. As I pointed out to you earlier, am drinking out of the most shredded Batman mug or Batman cup you could ever ask for. Like, why? Why does this cup need 8 abs? I don't understand.
Well, one, you're offending me with the Batman mug, and we know why. We know why you're offending me with that. So let's just say that. And two, that's not as really his abs, that's armor, because he doesn't work out that much. Let's be honest. He's like a really poor man's Tony Stark. Come on now.
Oh, damn. Y'all, if you disagree, I want to see the comments. Let's in the comments. Bring it. Chris is, yeah.
Because you never know who's going to answer.
Oh, I would love to see this. I am drinking Door Peninsula Strawberry Wine. This is Wisconsin made.
How strong is that stuff anyway?
It's not that strong. Yeah, I should be drinking stronger. It's 11.5% by volume.
That's not bad.
And I'm at the you approve. I'm at the end of the bottle with this glass. So I guess
shitty Batman mug.
In my shitty Batman mug, I have no apologies because again, as I said off screen, I'm on Team Batman for this because there's basically Team Batman and Team Superman in the Injustice world. And Team Superman, no, Superman's a dick. Superman's a dick. And it hurts me to say that as a Superman fan. But he is. He's wrong. He's wrong. Okay, so first of all, before we get into which comic, spoilers, why don't you tell people where you're from and how you got into
I'm from originally I'm from Memphis, Tennessee. I got back into comics when I was very little. I actually don't really remember ever getting into them. I just knew that comics were a part of my life. We were Marvel fans in my household simply because where we bought comic books was the grocery store. They just had Marvel. They really didn't have a lot of DC stuff. So, but Black Panther was our Batman. We thought Black Panther was like, he was the Dark Avenger, but like Batman's like, Batman, you mean that dude from the old Adam West show? Like, come on. But over the years, I started reading everything just like every other comic book fan did. But when it comes to the Injustice, which we're talking about today, I stopped reading DC and Marvel. I really just read independent comic books because they kept doing these once a year events and they would wipe out whatever you were reading. So the stories I would get really into would end up just stopping. And DC did some terrible editorial decisions with Batman and Wonder Woman where they were building this relationship between Batman and Wonder Woman in the comics, and then they just got rid of it. And I thought that was extremely compelling reading. And then in Marvel, I was really into the Thunderbolts, and then they just kiboshed the Thunderbolts when Siege happened, and I was done. So I got the DC app when it first came out, and Injustice was on there, and I'd played the video game. and was actually surprised about how well written the video game was. As a DC fan and as a Mortal Kombat fan, I really love fighting games. And I went back and I read, and I just thought, well, I'll give the first one a shot. And I power read. I binged all of Injustice, Gods Among Us, and then Injustice 2, Injustice Ground Zero. I just chewed through it and really became a fan of Tom Taylor because of that. Really
so
became a fan of that.
talented. Oh my gosh. Again, like I was saying off screen, spoilers, I talked to my guests off screen beforehand, but he could have phoned it in and been like, fuck it, this is just a fighting game. I'm just gonna write this shitty tie-in comic. Words are hard right now.
Yeah.
He could have written this shitty tie-in comic and cashed his paycheck, but he was like, I'm gonna write a compelling story that's way better than what's going on in DC canon, in like the main DC universe. Because again, like you said, the DC universe was like, whoa, stop, pay attention to this crossover event that is not that great written, but you have to buy 15 comics to figure out what your heroes are up to.
Oh, that's really why I quit reading. I couldn't take that kind of stuff anymore because I love the old school continuity. Because when I was in high school, those summer events would be built up to in the comic that you were reading as part of the storyline. And then it was just, they would just jam it in there now. And I will say what really made me get into Injustice was having known about the game. The game is 5 to 6 years after Superman has killed the Joker, after Joker forced Superman to kill Lois Lane, which sets off an atomic bomb that destroys Metropolis. And the game kind of just starts from there. The comic book starts from that moment of loss. And the first comic book ends with him killing the Joker. And the thing of it is, when you read it, you just think, well, they're just kind of putting these ideas together to service the narrative. They really don't. It's not that Joker gets Superman to kill Lois and his unborn child, by the way, which is horrifying enough.
Messed up, man.
Is that when Superman's not gonna kill him, Joker keeps going, yee. He just keeps messing with him and taunting with him, and he says the one thing, Superman kills him. But what the brilliance of Taylor's writing is, he takes this opportunity to show you why superheroes should not kill. What happens when a Superman is driven to that point and he takes that life, which we would all say is justified, what that actually does to them. And Batman serves as the counterpoint to that, because this whole thing has been no killing, no killing, no killing. And in the entire series Superman becomes a dick. He's just a jerk and he's evil. True. It's years of bad decisions, people not being there for him, people betraying him, all these things that lead up to Superman becoming basically the dictator of the planet. And it's a journey that you go on with these characters. Some of your most beloved characters are written so well, it's amazing. You get to see whole other sides of them. Some of your favorite characters are going to die real fast, real brutal.
Oh my gosh. Poor Nightwing, by the way.
Damian Wayne.
Nightwing. That was
Damian Wayne so
awful.
Well, I hate Damian Wayne so much anyway.
Holy trauma.
And there's so much I don't want to say, because I read this before a lot of it was being taken out of context for memes and posts on social media. So like some of the great humor that Taylor has in this became memes that people would just post pages and stuff to show those moments. And you get to see like what would happen if so-and-so did this or so-and-so did that. And you get to see some heroes and villains die, sometimes in rather brutal fashions, and accidentally kill somebody. They don't mean to. They don't mean to kill somebody, but they do, because they've pulled that trigger one time. And that's where I think a lot of the genius of this series comes in, is once you kill one person, that can become your default without you realizing it in those stressful times. And I
Which
love
is
it.
Batman's whole thing and why he doesn't kill. Even though sometimes I wonder, I'm like, Batman, maybe you should kill the Joker. No offense, Chris, because I know you make a great Joker. But I'm sorry. How many people does the Joker need to kill?
And again, that makes the fine point of like, he's irredeemable. He will never change. Why is he allowed to live?
Yep.
And Superman, even in that moment, is trying not to, and then he just doesn't. But then again, this is a being with such power that if he loses control for an instant, he could take out a city block. You think about it. He could sneeze and not control his lungs, put his hand up, and there goes Detroit. It's just what it is.
Like every time he shakes people's hands.
They could he could pulverize it so bad it would create an atomic explosion. And I thought the series is, and I believe Benucci, another writer, takes over it later from Taylor, and he still does a good job because it all is supposed to build into the video game. So the whole first run is just setting up the world of the video game. It's 152 digital issues, and I think collected it was 60. So this was not 5 issues to tell this quick story and make a quick money.
Right.
They turned this into and I don't care, bring it in the comments. Let's see what you got. I think it's one of the best Elseworlds series ever written.
Agreed.
Period. Because it goes into detail and depth more so than any other Elseworlds story really gets credit for, because most go, 5 issues or a trade paperback. They don't get to go 152 issues into every character getting a chance.
Also, some of the characters, not all of them, but some of the characters are more recognizable in this than the new 52.
Or I don't know. Yeah, New 52 or and the weird thing is there's a lot of like side characters to get moments to shine. Like John Constantine, I think, has a 5 to 6 issue run in this where he's the main character. It's told from his point. Harley gets a really long starring role in it as well. Yes,
I mean, granted, Harley's kind of getting her day in the sun in the past 2 years or so, which I'm happy about.
And what's great I thought about this is that they give Harley surprising out of nowhere depth in the middle of a fight that changes the dynamic with the character. And a lot of it's been shared on social media. I really don't like spoilers that much, but she shares something with Black Canary and you're just like,
spoilers in this episode, because if someone's watching this episode, they need.
Okay. Okay. So you find out Harley had Joker's baby and gave the baby up to a family member to raise and take care of. And it's mentioned, and then in the Justice 2, you get to meet the baby. Like he keeps that narrative going that long. So 2 whole comic book runs, this thread goes through. But it gives like why Harley changes, why does Harley join Batman against Superman, and why do certain heroes follow Superman? And what he goes back and does is he alters their history in just a little way to make them change. Like, why would Wonder Woman side with a dictator Superman? That makes no sense. In normal continuity, Wonder Woman would be putting the boots to Superman. But what he does, he goes back and he alters a little bit of her history to develop her personality just that bit different, that she does side with Superman and becomes like his diehard, like his lieutenant, does whatever he needs to get done.
Also his girlfriend, which is gross. Sorry. That's a no.
I just
never.
Okay. I'm going to throw this out here because we're talking Superman.
It's okay.
I just don't see why Wonder Woman would be with Superman. I completely get why Wonder Woman would be with Batman. And here's why. Bruce Wayne is the epitome of what Amazons want the world of men to be. He has everything given to him, a life of luxury. He's a captain of industry. He literally could be the antithesis of what they want the world of man to be. He trains and sacrifices his entire life to be a warrior who won't kill. And everything that he does is for other people, even his enemies. So like I see Wonder Woman looking at him going like, wow, he really is the ideal we wanted men to become,
Right?
the world that we protect. Where do you from? Well, I come from another world, and a sunburn gives me these godlike abilities. I don't get it. Now he's a good dude, don't get me wrong, Superman, great guy. And I do have to give credit again to Taylor. Superman just doesn't become evil. You really get to see him struggle with the decision he made to kill Joker. Was it impulsive? Did he actually choose to do that? In every decision and mistake that he makes, so that when he becomes this dictator figure, the high chancellor or the high counselor that they call him in the game, there's a process that he gets there. So it's not that he's just a jerk and he's a dick like we were talking about, like he just becomes a dick. You actually get to see the process, and it's that heartbreaking moment where you see him trying not to, and maybe Batman fails him by not meeting him halfway or trying a different tactic. There's no clean hands here, but definitely Superman's the bad guy. Just definitely.
No, it's heartbreaking.
No, that's the great thing about the series is it is heartbreaking. If he just changed, it wouldn't work. It just doesn't work.
I
I
will
don't know.
say,
Maybe Superman suddenly killing people on screen probably isn't a good idea.
no.
When he had like 19 other things he could have do instead of killing Zod. He had like you could have woken me from a slumber and I could have given you 5.
Also, even if there were no other things, the writers chose to put him in that position.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's one thing I actually liked about Taylor and then later Benucci's stuff is none of it feels a forced position in the storyline that they're doing this because this is the writing, we're just going to make them do this. And that's what you saw in Dawn of Justice. They forced him to be in a position to make a choice that he could have chosen 17 other things and stopped Zod. So to me, Injustice is one of the best examples of showing what happens when a hero kills. And the weight of that on them. Because it's not just Superman. In this battle, other heroes and villains fall, and heroes that never would kill, some intentionally, some accidentally. And that weighs on them the length of the story. It's not just for an issue or two.
It's not just, I'm bad now.
Damian is a piece of crap character in any universe known to man. It is such a waste of Superman's child that I can't even, when I read this Injustice, I'm just like, somebody just, could Killer Croc just snap his neck or something. I just detest that character so much.
He even in Injustice though, or Injustice gives him better character growth than canon.
I will say that they do justice for him by doing that. And one of the things they do great in this comic book is Alfred Pennyworth comes off like a boss. And there is an absolutely terrific moment between Alfred and Superman. If you've not read it, don't look it up. Don't go on Google. Just read it. And because I did that, I read it and I was like, oh, I couldn't believe it what I just read. It's fantastic.
Also, speaking of Harley and Black Canary, what I love is, first of all, so Harley telling Oliver that instead of calling it the Arrow Cave, he should have called the Quiver. And he's like, yeah, that's better.
And that joke keeps coming up with other people. And you know what? Yeah, that's actually better. Shut up! I know it's better.
So much better. And then after Oliver is tragically killed, Harley shows up at the hospital when Dinah is giving her baby. And they have that really heartfelt moment where Harley shows up at the hospital, and then it's really cute because she brought the baby a muzzle because she didn't know if the baby would have Dinah scream.
Yeah.
Which is like, it's actually super thoughtful, but it's also super Harley.
So Harley shows up, she has a muzzle and goes, "Oh, when the hyenas were teething, these were great." And Black Canary goes, "I cannot believe you're gonna give me a muzzle for my baby." Well, I just thought if your kid has your metahuman sonic scream at birth, and she just looks at her and goes, "Okay, give me the muzzle."
Like, come on, Dinah. Harley was actually being thoughtful there. Like, yeah, it's a little weird, but yeah, she's being thoughtful because it's like,
Man, you're getting scary good at making this.
yeah. Thank you again for being on the show. Oh, your tongue is blue. Tongue is a little bit red. That's
That's a damn strawberry wine.
I know. I'm such a basic bitch tonight. I can't even say the word. So
You're fine. Don't worry about it. It was great. It was fun. I had a blast. Always invite me if you need me. I love talking shit and drinking. I love it.
yes, come back. Okay, and thank you all for watching.
Yes, thank you everybody for watching.
This has been Drunk Comics.
You know, there's only one reason why guys in this city will walk a girl to the door.
Whoa, I'm not that forward. Actually, I'm not even that quick to make any kind of move, especially when the woman in question is trying to let me down easy. It's just that, well, when you said you had complications in your life, it sounded genuine and not like a blow-off. But maybe that's because I can relate to that sentiment.
I doubt that.
Well, maybe it's not the same sort of complications, but we all have things in our lives that make it difficult to get close to someone. Maybe some more than others. I've heard girls break up with me because there are times when my job requires me to run off in the middle of the night. I mean, if I'm working on a case, well, criminals don't sleep after all.
I know. Marty, I had a great time. Thank you.
Wait, I wasn't finished. I wanted to offer you a deal. I like you, and I want to see you again. I know you have your hesitations, but what if we set some guidelines?
Okay, I'm listening.
How about I agree to look the other way when your complications get in the way of plans if you promise to do the same for me? We could also add topics to the off-limits list if that would help.
I can agree to that, but under one condition. If you break any of these guidelines, I'm gone. This isn't a 3 strikes and you're out deal.
It's a deal. So I still owe you a follow-up to my tour of the city. What are you doing next Tuesday?
Spending time with you, I suppose. You ask as though I have a choice.
Well, I would have shown up either way, but it's good manners to ask first.
Oh, and I suppose as long as you ask, it's okay to do what you want then.
Exactly. I'm glad you understand. I'll see you Tuesday.
He said I kept going. I did not realize how much this would bring out Jokerich. I just thought you would laugh at the 8 abs because again, he's compensating.
Well, not all of us could train in Taibo. You know why he has 8 abs? Because he gets lost in his own stomach because he won't go below his lady's tum-tum.
Yes.
There's only 2 things that makes the Batman afraid. Crossing that line and crossing that line.
Oh, damn. Oh, damn. Cheers to that.
Hi.